What's going on today, guys? It's Sean here from Cracked Housing Fab. Today we're going to do some work on the rear end and mess around with that carburetor a little bit, so stay tuned. Okay guys, so this episode is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to be working by myself today. I think it's no secret of what's going on right now. And so Kurt and I decided to do our part and do our best to kind of separate ourselves. And both of us are healthy. Neither one of us are sick. Neither one of our families are sick. So we're very, very thankful for that. So we just want to do our part to do our best to fulfill the wishes of the government and obviously to stay healthy and not spread anything around. So I know, guys, it's a little bit uncomfortable being stuck inside if you're having to do that. Here in Michigan, they basically said that, hey, you guys need to do your best to kind of not go into big groups and do that sort of thing. So we're doing our part. So I'm gonna be working by myself today. I'm gonna do my best to make the best video I can for you guys. And yeah, let's all do our best to follow the guidelines of our government, local, state, federal. Let's beat this thing, guys. Let's all do our part. Let's knock this thing out. Let's be better than ever after this. I know we have some viewers that are from other countries and overseas and that sort of thing. And I know here in the United States, man, we're gonna come out better and stronger. And I know everyone else around the world is gonna do the same exact thing, guys. So let's do our part. And we're gonna get back to this. Hopefully this will help take your mind off some of the craziness and the uncertainty right now. So again, let's get to it and I'll show you what I'm gonna do today, guys. All right, guys, so first step, I'm gonna take this rear end apart. Kurt and I came up with an idea of how to put this rear end together. I'm sure that you guys remember, and if you don't, there's a couple of videos ago, we tried to drill this spline piece here to put a bolt through here to pin this all together to be able to function. So what we decided to do, we're gonna take this piece out, I'm gonna chop it in half, and I have a coupler that we're gonna put that back together, and then I'm gonna weld this shaft to the center shaft. Okay, so I got the center shaft out, pulled everything apart, slid this piece out. As you can see, I got the CV axles kind of opened up and everything opened back up again. So yeah, I got this out and I marked it where I need to cut it for that collar to go back in there to put these two back together once I weld them. So I'll show you that here in a minute. And also, another thing, guys, you freaking killed it on the last video. We did really well. Leave us a lot of comments, guys, man. We really appreciate it, and it helps us out big time. Hit that like button, and also click the little share thing and send this video link to a couple of your friends, and it really helps us out, guys. And we've had a ton of new subscribers, so welcome to you guys. And we're just excited to do some more builds. I know with this whole thing going on right now, it'll slow us down a little bit. Kurt and I have a couple of ideas of maybe a couple ways we can make this work and kind of give you guys some stuff while we're kind of wading through the uncertainty right now. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. And yeah, leave us a comment. Leave us a comment about Not So Simplicity. Maybe ask a couple of questions of Kurt and I. We'll do what we can to answer them for you guys. So yeah, so we'll get to chopping this thing in half. So I went ahead and cut this in half. So naturally this will be two pieces now. And then this coupler will put these two pieces together. This thing is really strong, very, very beefy, obviously with a keyway. So the next step is going to be, I'm going to weld this little stub shaft into the inside bore of the CV axle. So slide that in, I'll get that welded, and then we'll be able to start putting it back together. It's gonna probably be a little bit tough to get this stuff, everything kind of slide back in and line up and everything, but I'll definitely be able to get it. Okay, next up I'm gonna weld this stub shaft right into the CV axle. All right, same thing on the other side. Okay, so I went ahead and got these stub shafts welded into the CV axle, so that's all good. That turned out nice. I had to pull this one out because to be able to put that back into the bearing assembly, it's just I couldn't get it to turn that much. So I'll slide that all back together and I'll put the other side in and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, so I got everything put back together on this. It was a little bit of a struggle to kind of get everything to line up again and all go back together. So I'll show you. Yeah, it was just tough to get both shafts to slide into the coupler, then to slide the one shaft through the brake or the sprocket hub, and it was just tough to kind of get everything to go in and back to the bearings and all that stuff. It was a little bit of a challenge, but I got it. So yeah, everything's all back together, and it's pretty cool because obviously now everything moves all at one time. So now we pretty much have a set up rear end. So the next thing is going to be, I'm going to jump up front and I'm going to grab that carburetor off and we'll start taking that apart. I want to clean it, and yeah, so we'll get to that next. Okay guys, so the last clip that you just seen was filmed yesterday. So I finished up the rear end yesterday, and now I'm gonna get to messing with the carburetor. One thing really quick before I start doing that, I went back and I was reading some of the comments that you guys made and kind of asking like, what's the point of this thing? Well, it's kind of like asking like, what's the point of building like a mini gravedigger with a street bike engine, or a mini gravedigger with like huge tires and awesome axles and all this stuff, and a Barbie Jeep with a 450 engine in it. The purpose of this is because it's awesome. And if you're like one of the 3 people on this planet who don't know who Moto Mule is, Rather Be Welding, Grindhard Plumbing Company, those guys are awesome, extremely talented fabricators. If you guys don't know who they are or don't know what their channels are, just search them out, and you'll be just blown away. They do some really cool stuff. And Mike from Motor Mule has helped us out with our channel too. So, but yeah, I just wanted to address that because some people were asking, well, what's the point? And the point is because it's fun to build and it's super cool. So I'm going to get to taking the carburetor off. Okay, so I got the carburetor out. Don't kill me too bad in the comments, guys, if I get some of this stuff wrong. Like I said, I'm somewhat familiar with these carburetors, but I'm gonna get the bowl taken off and take a look at some of the jets that are in here. And I know some of you guys in the comments gave us some really good suggestions, so I really appreciate that. Also, if you guys like know of like any good resources to kind of like do some learning about this so I can kind of be a little more familiar, I would appreciate it. Or even some suggestions. Like, I'm pretty sure this is an idle screw. I'm not 100% sure. And also, I don't know what this was for on the bike. It goes right above the choke here. So I'm assuming maybe it's a hot start, something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna get this thing tore down, and then I'll check back in with you guys once I know what the jets are. Okay guys, just gotta bear with me. I'm doing all this by myself, so it's hard to like work and then grab the camera and do all that stuff. So doing my best with that. But so I got the carburetor apart, and it looks like there is, for the main jet, this guy right here, that's a 165. And then I pulled out what I'm pretty sure this is the pilot jet. This guy here. That one is a 45. So what I'm thinking, I'm gonna go up one size on the 165 to a 170, and then I'm gonna go up from a 45 to a 50 on the pilot. I think that'll be good, and I can go in between there. I do have a 48 pilot, so I can kind of hit it in the middle, but I think with that air filter, which you guys seen in other videos, but it's just an open pod filter. I think a 50 is gonna do it. Another thing, if you guys could kind of let me know, I've been trying to do some reading about this. I'm pretty sure this is the idle screw here, that guy. So I don't know if I should really mess around with that. Like I said, I have the Honda 450 that I did some jetting work, and I did a different accelerator pump, and I think a Boysen accelerator pump a few years back, but it's been a little while, so I'm trying to remember all this stuff. But the carburetor looks pretty clean inside, but I do have some new gaskets, and I know a couple of you guys suggested the mid carb gasket, which I believe is this right here. So I'm gonna see if I can get this out and get that apart and check that out as well. I don't know if I have any of the Torx bits with the little nub in the center though. So I gotta check on that. But yeah, I'm gonna start tearing into that, and I'll check back in with you in a minute. Okay, so I got the carburetor all put back together as far as the jets and everything go. I pulled the float out and I pulled the needle assembly out. That'll look nice and clean. This carburetor is actually in pretty good shape. Again, like, I think this bike was actually pretty well maintained. So I wasn't able, I don't have any of the Torx bits with a little security nub in the center, so I can't get these two pieces separated from each other. Worst case, if that is messed up, and I know that a couple of you guys have mentioned that in the comments, it's not that hard to get out of Not So Simplicity. So we can pull the carburetor out anytime, pretty easy. So I'm gonna get this thing back together. I did a little bit more reading. That is this screw right here, down at the bottom. This guy right here. That is the idle screw. So I gave that about a half a turn more out. I counted it was 2 turns out. So I went 2.5. I'm gonna see if that makes a big difference. So I'm gonna get this thing thrown back together, throw it back into Not So Simplicity, and we'll see if we can get it to fire up and run better. All right, guys, got the carburetor back on, got the fuel hook back up, plugged everything back in. So it's time to give it a try and see how much of a difference the jetting made. So let me go ahead and give it a kick. Yeah, that was, it was even running without the choke on that time. I forgot to turn it on, so it started without the choke. Man, that's awesome. A lot better. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up here. So we made it run considerably better. I mean, obviously we don't know it, wide open throttle, that sort of thing. We may still have to jet up more, I don't know. And I know there's a lot more to it than just those couple of jets. I know you have the needle that makes a difference, the taper on the needle and all that stuff, and the clip height on the needle. There didn't seem to be a leak jet on this one in the carburetor bowl. I remember there was one on my Honda, but for some reason I didn't see one there. So yeah, it's running a lot better. Starts up right away. I mean, what, that was 2 or 3 kicks. Seems to fire up really good. I know somebody suggested taking the baffle out of that Amazon muffler. Maybe we'll give that a shot and see if that makes a difference too. But yeah, guys, that was well worth it. And I do have some more jets, so if we need to jet up, we can go up more. But it seemed to run pretty decent. So we have a couple of more things to do. We got to put a gear shift and the clutch on there. So we're gonna do our best. I think Kurt's gonna actually, we film a lot of the stuff at my house, actually all the stuff at my house. And so Kurt's gonna come over. I'm gonna kind of stay away from him, doing the social distancing thing, just to do our part, guys. We want to make sure that we're doing everything safely, not spreading it to any of our families or anything like that. So yeah, so stay tuned, guys. That was gonna come up next. And yeah, thanks for watching Cracked Housing Fab.